Hi, this is my video post for part one, and I have a contest going for most interesting location. I'm not sure that this will be super interesting, but that I am at Lake Erie. Now you can't tell, maybe. Well, maybe you can see it a little bit. You have to trust me, that's Lake Erie out there. And I spend quite a bit of time here with my sailing. So that's where I am this morning, posting for post one. So my part one takeaways were first that the goal of all courses is to teach attitude, self-efficacy, how to learn, how to keep learning past the course, and all of that as much as to teach specific content. That's very interesting. All the courses have this in common, or they should have those goals in common. And it did occur to me that that's us teaching professionalism in a broad sense. Okay, I'm having trouble with color, but I'll try to fix it. The second thing I found interesting was that the initial structure of the goals and the content should be organized according to critical thinking levels, hitting all the levels, providing a flow up the levels, and identifying which class piece hits each level. And I thought of this as a pre-step to our mapping that we do of objectives to assessments. Very interesting. And that the first thing we need to do is establish that critical thinking build-up. Interesting. Then I also liked, as one of my takeaways, that we can connect with students as people early on, but we need to also allow them to connect with us and early on. And I wrote down to be structured about this to show intentionality, to get to know them. So possible course or assignment revisions for part one that I wrote. First, chapter one mentioned an icebreaker. It did occur to me to add to my opening day activities. Right now I have them ask a question about the syllabus, which works pretty well for multiple things. But it did occur to me to maybe add to my introductory essay a little bit, because I have the developmental students write an introductory essay. I could have them add some reflection, right? And maybe posting after thinking about it and writing a little bit about their own background, have them reflect on some overall lesson learned, something they didn't realize before. And that would let me teach reflection right up front. After a while, I liked that so well that I thought maybe I'd do that in all my classes, but it's definitely in the developmental class it would be useful. Another thing I wrote down is that chapter 2 mentioned a graphic syllabus. So I've been working a lot on graphic organizers in cranial contentment, and I've been wanting to expand that to all my Comp 1 and Comp 2 and developmental. So I like this idea to add a graphic organizer regarding the syllabus. I thought I could use the objectives and show how they build one on the next, maybe as an organizer. I do have the idea that the organizers in general are filled in by the students. So I thought in this case, maybe they could work together after the discussion of the syllabus, try to fill in an organizer like that, how the skills connect, something like that. This would also train them right at the beginning in the use of the organizers. So I thought that was good. Another thought that I had, Chapter 2 mentioned listing on the syllabus how the homework time should be used. Wow, is that a great idea? One problem that I have is they get the idea in their head, even though I tell them 100 times that this isn't true, that they'll just try to do all of the work at class since we're in a computer lab and we have lab time. Of course, that doesn't work. They end up scrambling at the last minute because they haven't done it on time. Or they're worse yet, they're there on the day that it's due thinking they'll have more time to work on it, which they do not have, and now they miss peer review. Very frustrating. So I thought, well, if I had a list of the homework they're supposed to be doing each week, and it's right in the syllabus, that would add some authority to it and some clarity. So I liked that idea. Chapter 3 also mentioned assessing prior knowledge. And I thought to add maybe on the first or second day, or maybe even the third day, a list of terminology. And just to have them go through that, they could look things up, they could work together, but a list of terminology. And then maybe even picking the one thing that they're pretty sure they know a lot about, and then writing a paragraph about what they know. And then the one thing that they think they don't know very much about at all, and writing a paragraph either about what they think they might know or what they would guess. And I thought, if I could do that and have those to read through, I'd have a lot of idea of where there's any misconceptions or confusions. And of course, what they themselves are identifying as weak points. And I thought I could add to that making a substantive reply. And that's of use because I could teach substantive replies right off the bat. So I like that. And then the last thing I wrote down was student questions about the instructor's teaching style. The chapter 3 mentioned that the students have a lot of questions about what the instructor's like. And I think I do a pretty good job of showing my personality on the first day when I'm asking those or answering those syllabus questions, but I thought I could go even further. And I could post my teaching philosophy on the same page where I have my instructor info page. And I could even maybe have them mimic my instructor info page, which just is a bullet list. It's like how long I've been teaching, what I like about teaching, what I like about teaching English, professional specialties, and avocations, hobbies. And then I have a couple of pictures there. One of sailing, so a hobby picture, personal. And I thought I could have them mimic that bullet list and maybe even upload a couple pictures. And by doing that, I would make sure that they had gotten to my instructor info page, which I'm not sure some of them ever find because I don't have an assignment related to it. And I thought also maybe a good extra credit, or maybe for the developmental students, would be to look at the teaching philosophy and write something like a learning philosophy, shorter, but to write something like that. So anyway, I got a lot of ideas, and that was great. And that is post 1 from Lake Erie.